Thanks everybody for coming. Super excited to talk about TikTok Shop. It's definitely a very nuanced platform. There's a lot of different things about it that do make it more complex than just plugging into Meta and running ads. So we'll try and cover as much of that stuff as we can on this presentation. So yeah, that being said, thank you, Kenny, for the introduction. Super excited to be here on Mentor Pass. And let's get into it. All right. So, as Kenny kind of mentioned, and many of us are aware, TikTok Shop is exploding. It's going to exceed around $20 billion in GMV this year. Got some crazy stuff going on outside. It's going to exceed $20 billion in GMV this year, which is just huge. I mean, if you think about the first years of Amazon or Shopify, they did not reach that level of scale until several years in. And it's growing 6x year over year. So, tremendous amount of interest in the platform. And as we know, it's because it's a very unique form of commerce. This is all video driven. It's very peer-to-peer. It's a lot of affiliates creating reviews about a product with the product then tagged so that if someone comes across that video and sees the review and they appreciate it, it solves a problem for them, then they can transact right there on the video. So it's a really unique platform. What's also crazy is there's already 130 US stores that are on track to do 8 figures, over $10 million in annual revenue this year. And that number is only growing. You see, a lot of D2C brands will come onto the scene very, very aggressively, very quickly, because a viral video can have a tremendous impact on your revenue. One video can drive anywhere from like $200,000 to $500,000 in revenue if it goes viral enough. So these numbers are only going to continue to go up, and it's been amazing seeing the growth for some of our brands on the platform, just in the last 3 months in particular, especially as you kind of ramp up that affiliate program. So, what is the playbook to actually get started? I think Kenny shared some stats on folks that are in this meeting, and it sounds like we have a lot of people that are early stage and haven't necessarily gotten going yet. And so we're going to talk about from just a cold start perspective, like what should you do to get your brand off the ground on TikTok Shop? So I really like to think there's 2 camps in D2C right now. There's the TikTok Shop curious and the TikTok Shop stagnant. So I would define curious as people who have heard about the platform and are interested in getting started, but haven't gone through the difficulties of actually getting your store on TikTok Shop. There's a lot of different challenges that are hooking up your fulfillment, making sure you have the right certifications, just some of the headaches that happen with an early stage platform. So I like to think of those people as like the TikTok Shop curious. And then there's also the TikTok Shop stagnant. So these are people who signed up, are on, they're actively able to sell on the platform, but they haven't really caught their stride. They're looking for, what is the playbook to actually really get going here? So this will be more for the people who are stagnant, but if you're one of the people who is curious, hasn't put your brand on the platform yet, then this is kind of your playbook once you do that to get started. So the first thing to know is TikTok Shop is an affiliate marketing platform. I like to describe it as a video MLM, multi-level marketing. So for anyone not familiar, multi-level marketing is really just a very peer-to-peer selling mechanism. So, a lot of nutrition and supplement, health and wellness brands have done this over the last, countless amount of years. And what TikTok has allowed is now, instead of having to go door to door, instead of being, a person in the suburbs going door to door selling Herbalife, you can now create a video with viral potential on TikTok that allows the viewer of that video to buy the product if you make something convincing enough. And what that has done is created an entire new ecosystem of people that can sell products. Like, it's completely democratized who can make a video and sell products. You used to have to put ad spend, you used to have to put scale things up on Meta and Google. And now if you seed random people with product, or even if they buy your product and just like it, you don't even have to seed them with a sample, then they can create a video and monetize their love for your brand. So It's really important to understand this because 80% of the total sales on TikTok actually occurs from affiliates posting about brands. This is not from brands posting their own content. It's from people who are affiliates connected to your store posting and tagging your product. So the natural next question is, how do I get them to post for me? Well, it's really important to post your first 30 pieces of content. And the reason for this is, as a brand, you have to get your own messaging out there first. Like, you have to articulate what your brand is about, your unique selling propositions, and what differentiates you from other similar products in your category. So our favorite format, if you're someone who is looking to do this yourself, if you're looking to be posting founder-led content, it's telling your brand story. And my favorite framework to incorporate here is called the enemy framework. And this is when you position yourself against a competitor or an industry or a behavior. So the videos that you're seeing right here, that's for a brand called Underbrush Gum. And if you are looking for a perfect example of how to go viral about your product on TikTok, then you got to follow this brand's lead, because what they were able to do is, without ever showing the founder's face, this is all shot on iPhone, not like him talking into a camera, but without ever showing the founder's face, they were able to amass over 20 million views. They sold out 3 times, all on 3 videos. So just 3 videos, because the story was extremely compelling, because it was relatable, and it felt like a problem that had affected a lot of individuals, which was, gum base maybe had some toxic ingredients. And so he created a product that solved that problem. Those videos had tremendous leverage for him. They sold him out several times, and he didn't have to show his face. He just told his story. So if you're a brand hoping to post your first 30 videos, I highly recommend the founder-led storytelling element here. Because it's going to give you the best opportunity to stand out and build fans of your brand, while, again, being able to sell your product. When it's tagged there, they can transact. If they appreciate your story, they can transact right there on the platform. So if you don't want to post yourself, then you want to outsource it from others. Then I think the best way to do it is to either go through a UGC service provider or an agency partner. So there's a few marketplaces that I put up here. Billio is another one that people are going to be very familiar with. But marketplaces like Join Brands, Incense, Sorrel, these allow you to get fixed cost UGC videos from people on TikTok for your brand. Obviously, you get usage rights to put that in your Meta ad account, so it kind of double dips there. But or you can work with an agency like us. We help out a lot of our brands with this content piece where, it's just hard to get to 30 pieces a month, but that's not what we're here for today. So, again, the marketplaces are really easy for people to use if you do have a lower budget, but you need to fill up your content calendar. And these are kind of the examples of the content that works on TikTok Shop. It's very low production. It's got some cuts, some edits that, make it feel a little fast paced. This video is actually one of our top performing assets that we've ever made for Kane footwear, for example. And, this took me approximately 15 seconds to make while I was at the pool of my apartment. But you can see it tells a quick story. It, clearly demonstrates what the product is able to do, sets it apart, makes it unique, and shows it off. So those are just some examples of like content that can fill that content calendar. It doesn't have to be, a big production, a big photo shoot, a big video shoot, like even a long story. It can be something very simple and low production. So why does this matter? Because you might be asking like, oh, it's an affiliate marketing platform, but why do I have to post? Why do I have to, invest in the content side of things? And it's because TikTok affiliates are very transactional. So all they are looking at is how much sales has this product generated and how much money can I earn if I drive sales from it. So the screenshot here is this is what it looks like when you send an outbound message to an affiliate. This is a product card that you send in the DMs. And as you can see, there's a few things that are obvious from the get-go. It immediately tells the affiliate how much they can earn, how many of the product has been sold, and what is the commission rate, so that if that price, which right now it's at 20, and 2 cents, if that price fluctuated, they can also calculate what is the commission rate if the price changes. So again, I want to emphasize that there are brands out there who have mainstream appeal, but will not have the same level of interest from TikTok affiliates because they don't have as much sales volume on the platform as competitors who focus solely on TikTok Shop. So the affiliates will choose the brand that has more sales. And especially for people who are early in their journey, it's very important to get that initial sales volume with your content and your ads, because otherwise affiliates will not want to touch the product because they don't see it selling on the platform. So just want to provide that helpful context about like why it's important to invest in your content foundation first. And then here's how we're going to actually, get in contact with thousands and thousands of affiliates to promote your brand. So it's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of bots on the market. I'm not going to necessarily endorse any of them on here. I think they all have their pros and cons. But the moral of the story is that you are able to do mass outreach to TikTok Shop affiliates through a bot. And so you hook this up as a user in your TikTok Shop Seller Center, and it will send a targeted message to thousands of creators a day. And you're able to customize that message, customize what product you're actually asking the affiliate to promote. And you're able to even select who you're sending this message to based on a few things, like number one, their audience demographics. If you're a beauty product with an audience that is 90% women, then you don't want to waste DMs sending it to men creators who don't have any overlap in your audience demographic, because you're wasting time. Similarly, you don't want to send a beauty product to someone who specializes in outdoor furniture content. And so you're able to select like what category this creator is making content for, and that helps you niche down again as well. The last thing, which I think is really, really, really cool, is you're able to see how much sales this TikTok Shop affiliate has generated in the last 30 days. So instead of wondering, is this creator telling me the truth? Are these numbers real? It's all tracked right there on the platform, which is fascinating because you're able to select anywhere from, have they generated $100 or more to have they generated $10,000 or more in the last 30 days. That allows you to cut through the noise very quickly. So if you're an emerging brand, you obviously only want to work with people who have maybe generated $1,000 or more in sales because they're proven creators. These are people that you can have a high degree of confidence they're going to make a really strong video for you. And that you don't want to waste samples because, there are creators on TikTok Shop affiliate who, don't necessarily produce the best content. So that is something to keep in mind. I actually ran the numbers this morning. We have seeded around 27,000 affiliates over the last 4 months. And the percentage of videos that generated revenue from that number of affiliates that we seeded is around 6%. So, that's the hit rate you can expect on a revenue generating video. It's really important to make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance to get that from 6 to 10% for your brand. I'll include that number for us is probably a little bit skewed because some of the brands want to send out as many samples as humanly possible. And so we've kind of lowered our requirements for them. But besides the point, just wanted to emphasize the transparency of the platform and how you can reach out to these folks. So what does the bot kind of allow you to do? You're able to send 75,000 outbound messages per month. So this isn't something you have to run for months and months at a time. Like you will have contacted most of the affiliates you need to speak with in about 2 to 3 months. And you're sending 75,000 messages a month. you're obviously going to be able to sample whatever your budget is. Every brand's different. Some brands can seed 5,000, 10,000 people a month. Some can only seed like 250. And so you want to select the best ones that work for you, approve their sample request, and then what we found is extremely important is once you have gotten a ton of those samples sent out to affiliates, you want to brief them to give them the best chance for success. So you want to send them some of the unique selling points about your product, the unique benefits about the product. Like, what does it do? You know, not necessarily what does it do, but what makes it different, right? Like, what is the unique angle that's special about your brand that will make it easy for them to concept and create a compelling video? The second thing is TikTok Shop is very much a deal hunter platform. So people are on this platform expecting to see crazy sales, unique offers, whatever it may be. And they've sort of been conditioned to do that over the first, I would say, year and some change that it's existed. So if you're running an offer or if you're participating in a TikTok Shop upcoming campaign, which they will do funded promotions, you've probably heard of that by now, they'll fund 15 to 20% off of your product. It's important to brief the affiliates that is coming up and say, hey, we're going to be 15% off. Make sure to include the upcoming, back to school campaign hashtag to give your video the best chance of performing well. And the last component here is you want to encourage multiple posts. So the way that TikTok Shop works is once you seed an affiliate, once you provide them with that sample, they're only obligated to create one video for you. And the best practice here is maybe they don't make any sales on their first video. So you want to follow up and say, hey, we've had a lot of success recently with creators doing X, Y, Z. Maybe you want to incorporate that in another post to give yourself the best opportunity for commission. It's really important to think about how you speak to these folks because, as I mentioned before, they are transactional. And so emphasizing the commission and how much money they can make, how much your affiliates are making on other platforms, especially if you don't have that early social proof, will help you stand out. And I don't say that from a place of guessing. It's a strategy that we've implemented with a couple of brands who have pretty massive levels of retail scale, like C4 and Beekman 1802. And we were able to 4X their affiliate demand and approvals all from copywriting and not from a change of methodology. They were using a bot before, but because we switched the messaging around, there was a very tangible impact. So I just wanted to include that, like really make sure that you're putting emphasis on that. And we have a template that we use for all of our brands. So if you want that template directly, either book some time on Mentor Pass or email me directly, but book some time on Mentor Pass because that's why we're here. The next question is, okay, what about ads, right? Like, how do I run profitable ads and how do I drive predictable growth? Because, as I mentioned earlier, the hit rate on an affiliate video is not the highest. It's pretty similar to what a lot of us might experience on Meta with creative testing of like a 5 to 10% hit rate. So the way that you really amplify things are, you getting the Spark ad code and then running it as an ad. So here's an example of some different really high performing creative. And it's important to note, like anything with organic sales, each one of these videos drove sales heavily organically. If it has organic sales with the video, it is guaranteed to perform as an ad. This math is very simple. And I don't want to go too granular, but in advertising, obviously, there's cost per 1,000 impressions. And so if you think about what you're paying for, say you have a cost per 1,000 impressions of $10 or $20 even, and a video gets 1,200 views and it gets a sale or 2 sales, well, the cost for that 1,000 impressions as an ad would have been around $12 to $20, whatever it is. The cost per acquisition on that organic video is now extremely low, right? Because it drove sales on 1,000 to 1,500 impressions. And so that's kind of a way to model out like how effective is this video going to be as an ad, is like how many sales did it get per the 1,000 views, and then forecast that with whatever your CPM is in that advertising platform. And what's really cool about TikTok Shop is it is an ecosystem. Like, it truthfully is something unlike anything I've ever seen, because you have this shop health score, you have this transparent tracked revenue on the platform, and both of those things severely impact your success. So number one, TikTok Shop is they like it when brands are following their policies. They give you a health score and a performance score. And if those two things are higher, then you will get more visibility on the platform. That's just a fact. The second thing that it does is twofold, and it's on the affiliate side. Those top performing affiliates that, you know, initially didn't want to work with you because you didn't have traction, they're now receptive because they see that you've been investing in the platform. In their head, they're thinking, if I make a video, this brand will put ad dollars behind it to make more money for me. Again, they're very transactional. They're thinking about themselves. And not only will you get better affiliates to want to work with you, but those affiliates will also take more swings. They'll create more content. They'll, instead of fulfilling their one video requirement, they'll try and make 3 to 5. They'll keep going until they create a video with sales. They might go live. TikTok is pushing live shopping quite a bit. They might take the time to, you know, do a breakdown of your product live. So the last kind of thing there I wanted to include is, you know, for a true cold start brand to trigger this network effect, there is a playbook that Liquid IV ran that I thought was fantastic. I've got it linked right here, and we'll obviously send these slides to everybody as a follow-up, but the summary would be they started to work with top affiliates well in advance of a new flavor launch, and they sent the affiliates product, you know, a month before they were ready to release the sample, or not release the sample, release the offer, and, you know, really go aggressively on the platform. And then they immediately put ad dollars behind all of their top performing affiliate videos. So from there, it took off, right? To the point where people who had bought the flavor, which was a popsicle flavor, people who had bought the flavor were creating content, basically flexing that they had this flavor and saying, this is sold out, but you could get the dreamsicle flavor instead. And so it really took over the platform for 4 days, and it was a great demonstration of, you know, when the network effect is triggered, it happens across all of these different affiliates, all these different influencers. So that is the TikTok Shop playbook. I might have skipped over some of the health stuff and following their policies, but it's not fun to talk about, so that might have been intentional. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.